What's going on? It's your boy Bowie here, Bouey in the building. And I'm here to talk about Subzero. And what I want to do is I want to, talk about a couple things that I've noticed with Subzero since playing him after the Ghostface patch. One of the things I want to say right now is that Subzero is absolutely a better character than he was before, thanks to the buffs that he got. Even the triple clone buff is quite situationally useful, and if nothing else, it's very good at putting you at full screen when you want to be at full screen. You know what I'm saying? In the corner, you can use this to armor break certain characters on wake up, But anyway, so what are some of the things that I noticed? So I primarily play Subzero Sareena, and this was one of his premier teams in my estimation, because mostly because Sub needs the sort of things that Sareena offers. See, Sareena offers him a full screen presence, you see, and that's not something that's to be taken lightly. Not only does she provide him a full screen presence, she gives him a combo off of any hit confirm that he can think to get. You see what I'm saying? And she's done so since the beginning of the game's life. Now, most other cameos do the same thing, which is fantastic, but Sareena was out here doing it first. And one of the things that I notice about this team is that, for one of the things I notice about Subzero is that Subzero is much better at trapping people behind this clone. Way better. See, the goal of playing Subzero is to put your opponents in the corner. This is where he wants them. And Sareena's quite effective at making your opponents feel some damage, nice meterless damage, and then Sub carries them right to the corner, like so. Once he does this, he can just clone directly after slide. So after he hits this slide in the corner, he could just clone if he wanted to, right? But that leads me to the second thing that I really I notice about Subzero, which is after a slide, back 3 clone is Subzero's best friend. It's his bestest friend. Because what happens is back 3 clone puts the ice clone at a perfect distance for Subzero to refreeze. It's also loopable. You know what I'm saying? You see that? And so back 3 clone is very, very good. It works well on hit or on block, because one of the problems that has always been present with forward 1-2 clone is that against many characters, when they get done blocking, they can break this clone. And let me see if I can demonstrate that now, actually. Okay, it doesn't work on Cyrax because she shrinks. Oh, no, never mind. Look. Why didn't it work this time? Interesting. Okay. So, it didn't work on Cyrax. It did, but it didn't. It's weird. Anyway, so on certain characters like Cyrax, you can sort of trap people with this forward 1-2 clone on block, right? But against characters like Rain and Ermac and stuff like that, as soon as they low block, they break this clone. Which defeats the purpose of even doing this. And it makes Subzero negative on block, you know what I'm saying? Now, this works on Cyrax, and it works on any character whose hitbox shrinks a little bit when they block. Because what happens is certain characters, when they block, their hitbox either moves backwards a little bit or it shrinks slightly. And that's sort of what happens with Cyrax. Is there a way to... Alright, yeah. So if you look at Cyrax there, notice she gets she moves backwards a little bit as she blocks. Because of that, forward 1-2 clone is going to trap her. Forward 1-2 I know for certain works on Katana, and it also works on Subzero. And when I say works, I don't mean that you can do forward 1-2 clone on it and then it freezes them. No. What I mean is when you do forward 1-2 clone on block, they can't do any sort of low blocking, high blocking sequence to break that clone. They're legitimately trapped, right? But some characters are not trapped by that at all. Okay, and you have to be mindful of that because some characters' hitboxes actually get bigger as they block. And so if they block forward 1-2 clone, they'll break it. But against the whole cast, back 3 clone just works. You know what I'm saying? So you don't even have to worry about none of that with back 3 clone. So back 3 clone is Sub's best friend after a combo. So what Subzero should be doing, or what you should be doing as Subzero, is when you get your hit confirm into whatever cameo it is, you need to be carrying them to the corner. But here's the important thing about your corner carrying combo. Do not use the ice clone in that combo. I've said this in prior videos, but it bears repeating because if you do something like this, yes, you cash out on damage, but now look, you can't use your clone. You see what I'm saying? So you actually don't want to use an ice clone combo at all. You want to use any combo that does not use a clone. That way, when they're in the corner, you can back 3 clone and start doing your things. You see what I'm saying? So that's another thing I realize about Subzero. You want to use clone as little as possible in combos and as much as possible in the neutral. Because now clone lasts long enough for you to actually be protected as you throw an ice ball. Because prior to the patch, I would do a clone, and if I try to do a move after that, it goes away before the move even comes out. So you don't get protected the way you should. You know what I'm saying? So as Sareena, or using Sareena as my partner, I would often throw those out all the time. And what would happen is both me and or Sareena would get hit with the projectile because the clone wouldn't protect you. But now clone lasts long enough to really protect you quite a bit. And so that helps us out quite, a lot in situations where before we would have got blown up, This really helps us when you have a cameo with a powerful projectile attack or some other, long startup move that, requires some setup. So doing clone and then, charging up Sonya's onion ring is a very good idea. Or using clone and, doing Kung Lao low hat is a good idea. So that's one of the things I recognize. Also, one other thing I recognize about Subzero is the side switching slide is really good. It's very good. It's very good. Because what happens is, sometimes, I want you to notice the hit advantage of that slide. It's plus 32, right? And so even if you manage to somehow hit your back three, let's say you do that combo right there, you're still plus 31. You know what I'm saying? And so what happens is, you are so plus that you can initiate offense before your opponent can get up. You know what I'm saying? And this is very beneficial for you because, you know, what can happen is, oh, you gotta be careful though. You have to be very careful with that slide. Make sure it hits. Because notice, if you do it too low, or if you wait too late to do a string into it, it ain't gonna hit. But notice it's plus 30. So you have time to decide whether you want to advance and do offense or retreat. Because I was fighting against a Johnny Cage, and I did some combo, and I ended it with a slide like this, and I just backed away. You see how I'm able to get full screen without him being able to do anything? That wasn't possible before because of that slide. And then there's other characters where you end with a combo like this, and now it's like, ooh, bitch, you thought you was gonna do something? Nah, I hit you with my mid. Or you end with a slide like that, and then you call Sareena over. You know what I'm saying? That's not ideal. But I'm just saying, you could do something like that. You know what I mean? So imagine Sub Chameleon. You know, you use Sub Chameleon, and then you call over the Jade cameo. Because the opponent think he gonna do something when he get up. It's like, nah, you meet the glaive now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that has to be dealt with just because of this plus 30 slide. So that's very good. That's very good for him. Another thing I recognize about Subzero is that this EX clone. This is still underexplored, I think, in my estimation. And the reason why is because people have all kind of different setups that they've came up with. I do this. That's what I do personally. Like if I want to cash out on damage. And in totality, let's see what that does. Okay, 408, that's not bad. But by the time I've done that, notice Sareena's all the way back now. So I've done 400 damage, my cameo bar is back full, and I'm right next to the opponent. Plus 22. That's good. That's very good. You know what I'm saying? And if I want to be far away from them, I can decide to do that, or I can be close. And of course, people have come up with little setups. Like that. You know what I'm saying? They've come up with things like that. Or the popular one. What's the popular one? They've done something like that where they did a jump in into stand for slide or something. I forget what it is now. Does that even work? That may not work mid screen. That may work only in the corner. Let me see. Let me try that shit. Bruh, what the fuck? I did a sleep. That's stupid as hell. Hold on. Sorry about that, yo. Yeah, something like that. You see what I'm saying? So that's dope as hell. So that's something that you can do. And so I advise you to use this triple clone to your advantage. I wouldn't center your gameplay around this, but let's say you have a life deficit and you haven't really brought this out in a set yet. Using the triple clone to set up a refreeze situation is actually really nice, because I don't see no reason why you couldn't do something like this. You know what I'm saying? So you did a whole combo, like let's say you're Sareena. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was almost 70% damage. That was almost 70%. You know what I mean? And all he spent was a bar. Bruh. I fucked that up. But you get my idea. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's things this character can do just because of this new buff. Oh, I didn't know what the throw would do. Yeah, the throw was taking like 3 years. But, you know. But notice, just a simple overhead low situation afterwards, you know, can really, like, let you combo people. Actually, let me try something real quick. I just thought of this. Whoops. Not what I want. Oh, it knocks down. Okay. Never mind. So anyway, but yeah, you know, you have a situation where if you're down in a pinch, bruh, I want to do the entire combo so I can just see what the damage would be. Yeah, look at that. 326 is left. That situation did damn near 70%. And of course I use Sareena for this, but this is possible with damn near any other cameo. The idea is to use your cameo to get a combo. Use triple clone in that combo, dash up, slide, and put the clones behind the opponent. Now they can't jump backwards. And if they decide to armor you or something like that, they're getting fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But it's a situation that wasn't possible before these buffs. Now, probably the main thing I really realize is that this EX clone is amazing in neutral. Amazing. Because you have a situation where this clone is always, because it's out there, slide is a threat for 4 seconds. So of course the opponent's going to be blocking it first, but then after a while they might show their ass and do something stupid. And then you could slide them into the clone. Or you might not have to do a goddamn thing. Like, I fought a Scorpion in a set, and I did the EX clone. Old boy went and teleported, appeared on the other side, and got his ass frozen into that clone, and I did an X-ray combo and won. Because of the EX clone. See, he was anticipating this clone. He knew it was going to go away. I conditioned him to, you know, anticipate this clone. You know what I'm saying? And so he was used to still doing his things, tiptoeing around that clone. But when I snuck this into the neutral, he didn't even see the bitch. He didn't even know I did it. And so he did his usual avoid teleport shenanigans, got his ass frozen and lost. And that's just in the neutral. In the corner, this shit becomes a whole problem. this shit becomes a whole problem because, you know, now the overhead comes into play. So let's say I do some sort of combo, right? And again, I'm using Sareena for this because, you know. So motherfuckers is already blocking. That did over 70%. That's like 75% damage. You see what I'm saying? Off of a simple hit confirm and 1 bar of meter spent. You see what I'm saying? Like, and of course, does this mean that they're gonna get hit with the overhead? Hell no, of course not. But what I'm saying is, the typical back 3 clone game is throw or low. That's the typical game. You know what I'm saying? With the EX, all of those things are still in play. But now you have the overhead for them to worry about also. And then if they jump, even that freezes them. You see what I'm saying? So even one of these joints can be devastating for them, because now it's like, oh damn, boom boom. Because a lot of people will just jump and try to avoid you, and it's like, okay, you can jump, boom, and they get frozen. So actually, let me demonstrate that. See that? And you still get your combo. And even if they try to jump out of it, back 3 clone will catch that ass slipping. Stop it. See that? That's a hidden benefit of back 3 clone. See that? And notice, I'm not spinning no meter. I didn't spin no meter here in this particular instance. But if I do back 3 EX clone, now they have to wait even longer to try to do something. You know what I'm saying? You bet not. You see? Now, am I telling you that this is going to work at the highest level and help you win EVO or help you win a tournament? Not necessarily. Not necessarily, but here's the thing. You don't know. People do not like fighting that ice clone. And if they're fighting a character that kind of struggles against it and doesn't have an easy answer for the clone, and they ain't got no meter because maybe they just broke, you now have layers for them to worry about. And the moment you use EX clone, so many things will provide a combo now. Obviously, I already showed you forward throw is going to throw them right into it, as it always has. But now backward throw will do it too. You know what I'm saying? So a backward throw will get their ass got. So yeah, those are some things that I realize about Subzero now. And of course, this is just primarily with one team, Subzero Sareena. And that's my main team. But every version of Subzero will benefit in the same ways. Plus, they will have additional benefits that apply specifically to those teams. But these are just some of the things that, you know, I've learned the hard knock way by playing against people, testing it on the field of battle and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm hoping that perhaps you learn something as well. Maybe you've learned some things on the field of battle, but hopefully one of the things that you should not have learned is that somehow Sub-Zero is weaker than he was before. I can tell you right now, he is not. He's definitely a stronger character than he was before. But given the fact that development of Mortal Kombat 1 is coming to a close soon, there are 2 more buffs I think Sub-Zero could really use. One of those buffs is Sub-Zero should get reduced cooldown when he uses a clone in a combo, or if it's broken. Because what happens is clone has like a 6-second cooldown, and that would be fine if the opponent never broke it. But what happens is, because we have an extra layer of clone cooldown, this combo that I used to do that used to allow us to do a combo and then have a clone come out right after, that shit doesn't work anymore because the clone doesn't come out. You still have to wait for an extra second of cooldown. So what I want for NRS to do is I want them to shorten Sub-Zero's cooldown only when opponents get frozen by the clone, or if the clone is otherwise broken by the opponent in some kind of way. So if the opponent breaks it, or if they throw a projectile and break it, the cooldown should be cut down to 3 seconds. Okay? However, if clone goes away on its own somehow, you know what I'm saying? Then the cooldown should be 6 seconds. Because what I want is I want for opponents of Sub-Zero to be rewarded for not getting frozen by it. I do want that. But I also want users of Sub-Zero to be benefited for using the clone correctly and getting people to get frozen by it. You know what I'm saying? Well, I forgot to tell y'all, clone in the throw works mid-screen, which is nuts. And I have frozen people like that. I've definitely gotten up close clones on people they've blocked, and they've gotten frozen. Also, slide in the clone does work on people. Not all the time, and you should not rely on this as some sort of cornerstone of your game plan. But it does work. You have to be smart about when you use it, though. You gotta be having your opponent used to you throwing things, then you use your slide, and then get your combo. It especially is more likely to work after EX clone. And it's even better if the clone is damn near off screen. Like that, you see? Because then they don't think they're going to get frozen. Like if you obviously throw out this clone and you fish for something, they're ready to block low. They're ready for that. You know what I'm saying? And so they're going to be moving or they're going to be blocking. And most of the time they're going to be moving. You know? And so if you've conditioned your opponent to expect that you'll throw things at them after a clone and stuff like that, if you've already got your opponent thinking that you're going to be some sort of ice fortress, they're less likely to expect you to slide them into it. Some of y'all be trying to do this right out the goddamn gate, and then you wonder why it doesn't work. Like, it's not going to work. You haven't made the opponent think to do anything but do this. You've not convinced your opponent that you're not going to do this. Because they already think you're going to slide clone. They think you're going to do this already. You need to convince them that you won't do it by doing clone into projectile. Convince them that every time they see this clone, something's going to follow behind them. Some sort of projectile. Especially if you get the life lead. Then what happens is, as you clone, they'll actually move towards you as you clone. So that they can get closer and try to kill you. That's when you use this. But anyway. But what I'm saying is, Sub-Zero's definitely a better character. Definitely a better character all the way around. But this clone cooldown needs to definitely needs to be implemented if the Sub-Zero player successfully uses a clone. If he makes an opponent get frozen by the clone, or it gets the opponent to break the clone, it should be 3 seconds. And then the last buff that I do really believe that Sub-Zero needs, and everybody knows where I'm going with this, is this ice ball is still too goddamn slow. This joint needs to be 25 frames. Why? Because MK9's ice clone was 24 frames. MKX's ice clone, if I'm not mistaken, was 28 frames. And I believe MK11's clone was about that same speed, 28, 27 frames. So all those ice balls were in the mid 20s in terms of startup. And so it's only fair that Sub-Zero get the same thing. Especially given the fact that Shujinko gets a 31 frame ice ball. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we need. But even if NRS does not give us those things, our character is still better than he was day one. I'm hoping that we all enjoy him a little bit better now, because I certainly have been. You dig what I'm saying? But with that being said, I think I've talked long enough. I'll catch y'all later. 1.